In mathematics, a polynomial is an expression consisting of variables and coefficients that involves only the operation of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and non-negative integer exponent of variables. So this was the mathematical definition for polynomials. To understand it in a better way, let us first discuss the the title, that is polynomials. Now polynomials is made up of two words, poly and nomials. This poly stands for many. Poly stands for many, whereas nomial stands for terms. So polynomial stands for many terms. So many terms combined together is called as polynomials. So let's take a look at examples of polynomials. A polynomial may be considered as 7x raised to 4 minus 3x cubed plus x squared minus x plus 1. So this expression can be called as a polynomial because it consists of many terms. We can say that this is one term, this is the other one, this is next term, minus x is also a term, and this constant is also a term. So these are your terms, and many terms are present, hence it is called as a polynomial. Now the next thing that we need to study is what are the variables and what are the coefficient. Here you can see the entire polynomial equation involves only one variable, that is x. So this is a polynomial in one variable, and that variable is x. You can see 7 minus 3 plus this 1 minus 1 and plus 1. All these things, all these numbers, all these values are called as coefficients. All these values are called as coefficients of polynomials. Okay, so that's about polynomials. The next thing that we are going to study is degree of a polynomial. So next thing we'll be studying is degree of a polynomial. Degree of a polynomial. So what is the degree of polynomial? The mathematical definition is it is the highest power of the variable in the polynomial expression. So let's understand it. We'll consider an example for this. 5x squared minus 2x plus 3. Here in this example you can make a note of it. Here the variable is x, and 5, negative 2 and 3 are your variables. Now the variable x is carrying different powers. Here the variable x is carrying a power of 2, here the power of the variable is 1, and here the variable is not present, so we can consider it as x raised to 0. So you can see that the powers are 2, 1 and 0. The highest amongst the three is 2, so we can say that the degree of the polynomial in this case, degree, is equal to 2. So it's nothing but the highest power of your polynomial expression. Let's consider another example. 5x raised to 4 plus 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus x minus 7. Here also this was your first example, this one is the second one. Here you can see that it is 5x raised to 4, 2x cubed. So the variable x is carrying different powers. It is having 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0. Here the highest power of the variable is 4. So we can say the degree of the given polynomial expression is 4. And you can consider any of the expression and you can now find the degree of the polynomial. The next thing that is important thing for us to understand is the types of polynomials. Types of polynomial. Now this classification of polynomials or the types of polynomials will be based on the degree of polynomials. So classification of polynomials based on their degree. So based on their degree. So the very first type is your linear polynomial. Now what is linear polynomial? Linear polynomial is that kind of polynomial where the degree will be equal to 1. When the polynomial is having degree as 1, it will be called as a linear polynomial. We can consider an example like 5x minus 3. Here you can see the highest power of the variable is 1, so the degree of the polynomial is 1, and hence it is a linear polynomial. The next classification or the next type is quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial. Now what is a quadratic polynomial? A quadratic polynomial is the one which has its degree as 2. So whenever a polynomial is having a degree as 2, that is called as quadratic polynomial. So I can give you an example: 2x square minus x plus 5. You can see the variable x is having highest power as 2, and hence it will be called as a quadratic polynomial. The third type of polynomial is a cubic polynomial. A cubic polynomial. So if linear polynomial is of degree 1, quadratic is of 2, the cubic should be, yes, it is of degree 3. So whenever a polynomial has its degree as 3, it will be called as cubic polynomial. We can have an example: 11x cube minus 4x square minus x plus 7. Here you can see the degree. The highest power of the variable is 3, so the degree is 3, and hence it is a cubic polynomial. Now the last type that we have is this by it is biquadratic polynomial. So biquadratic polynomial, if quadratic is of degree 2, so biquadratic should be of degree 4. So yes, biquadratic is that type of polynomial where your degree will be 4. So we can also have an example for this. It is 5x raised to 4 minus 3x cube minus x square plus 7x and minus 7. So whenever you have a biquadratic polynomial where the degree of the polynomial will be 4. Okay, so that's how the classification of polynomial is done based on their degrees: linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial, cubic polynomial, and biquadratic polynomial. Moving ahead, we are going to discuss an important topic from the chapter polynomial, and that is zeros of a polynomial. Zeros of a polynomial. Oops. Zeros of a polynomial. So from here, the syllabus for CBSE class 10 starts. Zeros of a polynomial. So let us discuss what is zeros of a polynomial. If we have a polynomial p of x, let's say p of x, and we replace x by a certain value k, and if the value of p of x becomes 0, then k is called as the zero of a polynomial. I repeat, whenever you have a polynomial, instead of x you are putting a value as k, and your polynomial becomes equal to 0. Your value of the polynomial becomes 0, then that value k is called as your 0. We'll take an example so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. Suppose let us consider a polynomial p of x as x square minus 3x and minus 4. So if this is my polynomial that I'm talking about, and I need to find the value of this polynomial, suppose I'm finding the value of this polynomial at minus 1. I'm finding the value of this polynomial at minus 1. So instead of x, I'll put -1. So your polynomial will be now p of -1. All the x will be replaced by -1. So -1 square minus 3x, so it is 3 minus 1 and minus 4. You can see -1 square will be always positive, and this minus minus become plus 3, and this is minus 4. So ultimately the answer will be 4 minus 4, and you get the answer as 0. You get the answer as 0. Okay, there will be one more value which will be satisfying this condition, and that value will be, I guess it will be 4. Let's check. So p of 4 will be 4 square minus 3 times 4 and again minus 4. So 4 square is 16, minus this is 12, and this is 4. So 16 minus 12. 16 minus 12 is what? It is 4. So 4 minus 4. And again you got the value as 0. You have seen that for a single polynomial, when I substitute the value as -1 and when I substitute the value as 4, your value of polynomial becomes equal to 0. So by definition, x is equal to -1 and x equals to 4 are my zeros, are the zeros, are the zeros given of given polynomial. Okay, so you might have got an idea of what are zeros of the polynomial. Zeros are those values of x or your variable which, when substituted instead of that variable in your polynomial equation, the value of the polynomial becomes equal to 0. We have seen an example. So that's about zeros of a polynomial. Now we can now move ahead with the next article that we are going to study, and that will be the geometric meaning of zeros of a polynomial. That I'll be covering up in the next lecture, in the next video that I'll be talking about. I hope that you have understood what are polynomials, then the types of polynomials, and the zeros of polynomials. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Do like, share, subscribe,